Robert Heady is the new city engineer and director of public works. Though he is not originally from Athens, his background as an engineer started here.
And I went to High University for civil engineering in the early 2000s and graduated, went to work for a private firm in Columbus and worked for them for almost 7 years. Left and went to work for a county engineer's office and did some bridge work for 3 years. And from there went on to another county engineer's office for a year and then back to the private side. So I've got a little bit of flavor of both sides of it, got to see how it works on both sides of the table with both the funding and doing design work.
Heady says that he really enjoys the job so far and that he's thankful to have some experience in Athens under his belt. Not only did he attend Ohio University, but he also worked on several city projects as part of a construction service. As one might expect, he says his biggest challenges don't come from engineering or local knowledge, but in learning how to be a director.
The procedural things, the contracts, and that. Luckily, I had the engineering background and worked on some of the projects for the city, for like the wastewater treatment plant and Richland Avenue. When we did the roundabout and the bridge, I was here doing construction services. So luckily, and I went to school here, so that helped. I knew my way around, so the engineering side I had, but learning all the procedures and the people and just getting to learn. We've got 50+ staff here in our department, and then all the other departments as well.
Heady says that his predecessor, Andy Stone, has been a big help during his first few weeks.
Yeah, I guess it's really great to have your predecessor step up and be in your supervisor then, because he kind of understands. Unfortunately, we don't get to probably spend as much time together as we'd both like, just because he's a wealth of knowledge. He's been here so many years. But yeah, I've never met an individual quite as devoted, so he's available anytime. Anytime I have a question, I'm able to get a hold of him.
Heady reflected on some of his past experiences, which he thinks will assist him in his time as city engineer.
A combined sewer separation was probably the largest of scale, and something serves me well here. The city of Zanesville, I worked for the first 3 years of their combined sewer separation program, and basically they're an older city. So originally sewers were combined, and it all went to the river, and dilution was the solution. Of course, now we know that's not what we want to do. But when you go into a heavily used corridor, similar to when we were out here on West Schaefer or West State and North Schaefer last Friday, we were down 12 foot deep, and there's 3 or 4 water lines and a gas line. So that project for the city of Zanesville made me realize, how crucial it is to know where all your utilities are and spend the time to find them. And we've definitely got that challenge here in Athens.
After being properly introduced to TGC, Heady gave us an update on the East State Street project.
Last winter was very hard, this spring was very hard on the roadway, and now we're finished mainline paving today. So if you're out there, you'll see all 4 lanes are paved, and we'll be working the rest of the week, or the contractor will be working on all the ramps to the businesses. That should get done this week, and then next Monday they plan to start permanent striping. So that should alleviate a lot of the issues with the barrels and some of the confusion.
Heady also said that the US 33 ramps will likely be open on time, but may be slightly delayed due to weather. The construction on and around East State Street has made driving in that area confusing for many people. We asked the city engineer if he had any advice for drivers.
Be patient. We try to, everyone says you kind of avoid the area, but that's hard to do because there's so many businesses and crucial locations there, whether it be a grocery store or a department store. So I think the biggest thing is be patient. I've been down a few times, and if everybody would take a breath, I think it'd be a lot safer.
According to Heady, East State Street is about to be easier to drive on.
Next Monday we should have some permanent striping go down, and everybody will probably kind of forget about the whole pothole season from the spring. So it should stay that way for a long time. 2003 was the last time it was paved, when it was widened. And the design incorporated a stress absorbing mat between the existing pavement and the new pavement. That should help with some of the existing cracking, so we should get a pretty long life out of that pavement and won't have to do this project again for 7, 8 years or better.
The pavement will be painted not only for cars but for bikes too. Heady says that the addition of bike lanes will narrow the current driving space.
It should, in theory, calm traffic when you have the narrowed lane. Similar to driving with bushes along the side of the road, there's a psychological component there that usually slows down drivers. So, we're very curious to see how it works. It should work, well, and I don't think anybody's going to notice. I think there was a lot of consternation about that ahead of time, but hopefully when it's down, everybody will see that it's going to function well. And I think your riders, based on their own comfort level, will ride that street. You know, maybe some of the less experienced riders will probably avoid it just because of the traffic volumes, but some of our experienced cyclists will definitely, I think, see benefit from it.
Heady says that some small delays have already reared their head, but the East State Street project should be finished by mid to late October, which is right on schedule.
I'm excited to be here and get to meet everybody. It's kind of a little bit of returning home. You know, going to school here was a good experience. I think it's one of the best, you know, engineering schools in the state. So I lucked into that when I came to Ohio University. But glad to be back and glad to work on, you know, continue some of the projects that I was able to work on before. And I guess if anybody has any questions, you know, our door's always open. So feel free to call and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
If you have questions about the East State Street project or any other project going on in Athens, you can call the Department of Engineering and Public Works at the number shown on screen.